Now what?
How do I let go of fear?
Well, it's nowhere near where you just were. So it's sort of about making the choice of if I want to be nearer to God or further from God, because that's all fear is a vibrational frequency that's not the same as that. So you let go of it a little bit at a time, but you let go of it by focusing. You let go of it by focusing somewhere else. When you realize that every subject is two subjects, and on one end of the stick there's alignment with who you are, and on the other end there isn't, and so it really is a matter of choosing. But law of attraction tends to hold you in the vicinity of where you are. But just now you just relaxed and focused and flowed. Did anybody have vibrations moving up through them as it was going on? It was so resonant with source energy. And so our point is, you can't be there and in fear at the same time. So it really is a sort of choice. It's by being aware of what you're doing or thinking when fear is engulfing you or enveloping you, and what you're thinking or doing when alignment is. Yes?
Yes. It just seems that fear gets in the way. I think fear blocks is what's blocking me so often.
But here's the thing. Fear is an indication of blockage. It's not what's blocking. It's an indication of split energy. And usually by the time you would describe it as fear, you focused upon something long enough that it got enough momentum going that you were then in the absence of your connection with source long enough that you were emptied out a little bit. That's not ever accurate. You're never emptied out, but you've pinched enough of it off for long enough that then it feels that more dramatic sensation. Law of attraction and momentum are the same word. Doesn't everyone wish they had a telephone that would ring that long? So when you feel fear, it means that you've focused in a way that is disallowing your alignment with who you are, but that you're doing it long enough that there's enough momentum going that it's sort of got hold of you. Fear only means you've got a habit of thought going that your inner being does not agree with. So can you pinpoint, or you can speak it if you want to, what thoughts you find yourself thinking when that fear is gripping you?
That the vision that I have for my life and for the future might not happen.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. There is nothing in this world that we would rather that you feel fear about, because what it means is you have a huge desire, and thought in opposition of it feels awful. It also means that you have an inner being that absolutely does not agree with that thought, and when you do, you're just hanging out there on the raw and ragged edge because you're not including what your inner being thinks about it. That's all that it is. It means this is the bogusest of bogus thoughts. That's what it means. But it also means you got a habit of thinking like that. And as we were saying, if you decide that you're not going to think about that, you're thinking about that thing that you don't want to think about. And the more you decide you're not going to think about it, the more you think about it, and the more you talk about it with others, and the more they think about it, and the more you think about it, and the more you think about it, the more you think about it. You can't stop thinking about something. You got to think about something else. So it's really a matter of choosing the direction of your thoughts. So what often happens to people is that they have this strong desire, that you've been parlaying into that strong desire, and it's valid and it's real. It's in your vibrational reality. We want you so much to accept the realness of this vibrational reality. We've given it a name. We call it the vortex. Wrote 2 books about it. We want you to understand that it really is a reality. It's not only a reality that will someday manifest, which makes it sound future tense. It's a reality that exists in vibrational form where your inner being is. So when you focus in opposition to something that is real, you feel that emptying out. Does that make sense to you? That's the best we've ever said that. This reality is so real, and it's gestating, it's becoming. In fact, it's ready for you. It's ready for you, but you've got to be ready for it. You can't keep thinking in opposition to it. and be ready for it. And every time you do think in opposition to it, you feel fear. So you say, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. And it's all right. I'm doing it again. My guidance system is just helping me to realize that I'm doing it again. That's all. I'm doing it again.
And then I stop.
Probably not. But at least you've identified that you're doing it, and you may be less likely to start it in another moment.
And gradually that ability to channel the energy and to accept the reality of the vortex of that vibrational world starts, I get better at that.
Well, there are two ways that you can approach this, and we're going to talk about both of them, and we'll play with you on the second one because it's the way most of you prefer, even though it's not the most effective. So there are two ways that you can dissolve this fear. The first, and it's the one we talk about all the time, is by sitting daily in meditation where you quiet your mind. By focusing on something that isn't interesting, like a sound in the room or something steady. And by quieting your mind until you actually feel detachment, can't tell your nose from your toe. Sometimes you feel like you're floating. Don't look, because you're not floating, and it might bring you out of your relaxed meditative state. So once you accomplish that, then your mind is clear to receive the vibration of who you really are. And so in that meditative state, once you've accomplished that quieted mind, now the vibrations of your source and the vibrations of your vortex are available for your receiving, and your body will receive some impulses. Sometimes you'll twitch. Esther can feel her face doing things that she knows if someone was looking, they would find it very interesting, because her face is doing muscular things that she cannot dictate with her own mind. And she can feel ripples through her body. It's like a massage from the inside out. She can feel sometimes that the cells of her body are responding, are receptive to this vibration, and this replenishing is taking place. And then sometimes, not always, but sometimes, an impulse will occur to you about the time that you're coming out of your meditative state, that if you follow it, it will be beneficial. And sometimes you know it right away. Sometimes it takes a little while for you to realize it, but anything that comes to you in that receptive state is always beneficial. So that, of course, is the path that we encourage most. But there's another one, and that path is more about directing your thoughts moment by moment. Because let's say, as you're going through the day, you really, in most cases, cannot pull your car over to the side of the road and meditate. Or, excuse me, in the middle of a meeting, I'll be back, I've got to go meditate. We know that it's something that you can do at the beginning of the day, but then life comes at you, as it does, and sometimes as life comes, it activates vibrations that are not conducive to your alignment, so there you are.